Now this one was tricky. It took me a bit. All right, so you're hitting a soccer ball and you're trying to solve what's the final velocity if you read the question. And so it might be helpful to think about this in terms of what's going on. So this is the force plate. You hit the ball at negative 16 meters per second. So the sign's going to matter, and it's going to rebound at some V final. We don't know what the V final is. And so that's what we're trying to find. What's the final velocity of that? Now, the other thing that's important to understand is when you look at this graph, you want to figure out what the impulse is on this. And if you recall, impulse is going to be the force times the time. But we need to find the total amount of impulse from this graph. And from this graph, it's actually the area under the curve. All right, so we have a triangle. And if you look at a triangle, so it's you have force in the vertical axis, and the horizontal you have time. And note the time is in milliseconds. And so you have, what is it here? We've got, of course, for a triangle, it's 1/2 base times height. And so it'd be 1/2. Your base is, I have 0.007 seconds. That's 7 milliseconds. Do you see that? Times 2,500. And there I got an impulse of 8.75. Okay? Because then what you're going to do is you're going to set up an equation, right? If you call P is equal to M delta V. This is important. That's a delta V, which is the force times the time, which is the impulse. But what's the impulse? We now know that's 8.75. So what's M going to be? Well, M is given, what is it, a 0.43 kilogram ball. So this is 0.43 kilograms. Now, what does the delta V mean? It comes in at 16. So delta V, let's make a note here, delta V is V final minus V initial, right? So I'm going to plug in for delta V, V final, but V final we don't know, right? So that's going to be V final minus, now watch it, minus negative 16, and you set that equal to 8.75. You then do the algebra. I just plug this into my calculator, and I got V2 equal to 4.3 meters per second. Kind of tricky. I think the trick on this is you've got to realize this is negative 16. It's minus and negative here. And then you had to do the area under this curve. So there's a lot of tricks in this difficult question.